A ballerina's perspective, from performing with New York City Ballet and Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater to publishing poetry books and mentoring kids and teens. Join us in a weekly discussion with experts to gain mental health clarity and achieve growth in moral consciousness. Give our show a 5 stars, comment, share, and come along for the ride.
Okay, I
Welcome to
see it
the Growth,
recording.
Grace, and Gratitude podcast, where we talk about all things mental health, wellness, spirituality, growth, and so much more. And today we will be doing a special collective episode for our author's journey of healing and purpose. And we have so many beautiful guests joining me to share their journeys and their experiences with the art of writing. And I thought it would be a great idea to introduce yourselves and to also share a little bit about what your journey was with writing to our community, who is very excited to hear you guys talk about your passions and how that aligns with your purpose. Unlock your best life with Soul App. Book a holistic wellness experience with a trained guide and start changing your life today with compassion practices, inner healing, food and diet, and so much more. Tap into a healthier and happier life with the #1 purposeful living app in the US, the Soul app, link in the description of the podcast. We can start with Briana. Welcome to Briana, who writes romance stories for modern Christian women and creates resources to encourage and empower women on their faith journeys.
Thanks for having me, Ari. As you mentioned, I am a Christian author. My journey is pretty typical. I grew up writing stories, telling stories, thought for a very long time that was going to be my career, went in a different direction and ended up working in higher education for over a decade. But I started to feel burnout, especially after COVID. Working for an online university became exhausting, rewarding still, helping students, but very tiring after each day.
Yes.
And I had to make a decision to move into a new career. And writing ended up being the next step in my journey.
ClickFunnels easily build any type of online business and sales funnel in record time, no matter what your product, service, or niche, without any tech design or experience whatsoever. Try the ClickFunnels 14-day free trial, link in the description of the podcast. That's amazing. I love how so many of us who start writing, we have been doing other things, and it leads us into some kind of portal or a soul invitation that drives us or pulls us into that. That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And next we have Deanna.
Hello,
Deanna
everybody.
currently has 5 poetry collections. Wow, that's so impressive. It's called Lifespan, Poetic Reactions, Trauma's Death, Inner Thoughts, Poems Suitable for Middle School, and Don't Go.
So, my writing journey began when I was a teenager. um, my childhood, my mom was, it wasn't be quiet or shut up or, don't talk right now. It was, I don't want to hear your voice.
Oh,
So, my voice became something I couldn't use. And then when I started writing in journals and diaries, dear diary, such and such happened to me today, because I needed some outlet to kind of go. She started reading them and telling me I was lying. So I started writing poetry to kind of, she didn't understand it. So I could write whatever I wanted and she really couldn't understand it.
wow.
So poetry became my voice and it became my way of dealing with what I was going on. And when I got to therapy in my 30s, I started bringing it to my therapist, and she was just like, "You need to publish this." So I basically started publishing because on the will of my therapist, and I became my own publisher, of course. And all of my poetry has to do with inner thoughts and feelings and momentary things that happen that kind of put me back and forth through my mental health journey. My book, Don't Go Stay, is actually my battle with depression.
Wow.
And on the back of it, I have the 988 number that I give out to people so that they can, it's the Suicide Crisis Lifeline, to help people that may not have a voice and may not have a therapist like I did.
Wow.
And
Um,
that's basically what I'm doing now.
wow, such a moving story. I think we all feel chills like you expressing that and sharing that raw vulnerability. Thank you so much. And yeah, to find your voice in that space, it's like finding your voice in the void is so challenging. And yes, trauma leads us to write and channel so many beautiful healing things that not only help us, but help so many people. Thank you so much for sharing that. Podpitch is the first and only software that finds, writes, and sends pitches to podcast hosts from your actual email address. Podpitch will make sure you get podcast bookings, guaranteed. Link in the description of the podcast.
You're welcome. Thank
And
you for
next
having
we
me.
have Hakeem. Your book is called Unkindled, which touches on
That's right.
what things can be like when we step out of our comfort zones and explore the life we see ourselves living in our dreams and bring them to light. Wonderful.
Right. So, I'm Hakim. My full name, Yusuf Hakim Kaiser. That's what you'll see on the book, Yusuf Kaiser. That's my first name, but I'll usually go by my middle name. Um,
Awesome.
yeah. So my journey with writing has been a long one, but very rewarding. I started doing it as a means to basically, writing and journaling and things like that as a means to process my internal dialogue so that I can work through things and like have it physically to look at so that's not just like thoughts around in my head and I can physically look at it and say, okay, this is the problem. Now we can, how do we like navigate around that? And so like iteratively it became something that I kind of depended on to express myself in a way that's often been difficult to do in words, like when speaking to people, similar to Deanna. And so it's it's been a really rewarding journey to be able to grow throughout my writing. Now, there's more to it than that. I don't only write poetry. I also write all types of things. I have a nonfiction book that I haven't published yet. That I'm going to be. I wrote that one actually before I wrote this one, but I wrote this one for a writing competition. So I wanted to, get this one finished first, and then I'll focus on the other one. But and also like fantasy and like um, sci-fi and things like that. Just like really fun, creative, narrative things. Um, yeah, and so I write every day, pretty much. At least something. I'll write. I have like an entire. I'm looking at it right now. Actually, like my notes. I have a bunch of different things that I'll write and just like save it for later for like different pieces. So I use writing as pretty much like a direct interface to my internal dialogue, which is very useful for me for communicating certain ideas that are often hard to articulate. And it means a lot to me to be able to do it through um, through such simple means, especially with Unkindled being like as short as it is, because I wanted it to be digestible as especially amongst the the social media hype. It's like our attention spans were like getting shorter and shorter on things that we really want to sit down and focus on. So I'm like, okay, let me just keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it simple and concise, but still keep like a powerful message within it. And so um yeah, there's a lot more I could say, but I don't want to take up too much of the introduction times. I'm sure we'll have more chance to speak on that, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
love that. Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. I love how you mentioned you write different things, not just poetry, and
Mm,
going towards different kind of expressions in writing. It kind of activates different versions of ourselves. So I love that. And having
for sure.
like a process and a continuation of consistency, I think is great as well. It really helps to make those creative juices flow.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yes. Sanger Daniels' online seminar promoting a positive message of self-healing with bioenergy work together with live seminars and remote coaching. Use code BIO20 for a 20% discount for our audience. Link in the description of the podcast. And next we have Mark. And Mark writes primarily science fiction and fantasy stories, music, poetry, and screenplays, which sounds amazing.
um, using poetry to sort of explore my problems in my spiritual life as a teen, and then graduated into, after college, I was editor in book publishing for a while. And about the same time, I found sort of a spiritual path and used that to sort of broaden my spirituality. And I'm still doing editing for quite a while. And I started getting into journalism, and I did screenwriting and playwriting, actually.
Oh, amazing.
And I was an actor in Hollywood for a while. And then I moved to New York, and I started a game company, and I got back into acting again. I worked on some TV shows and a couple of films.
Wow.
And then I found a science fiction and fantasy writers group in Brooklyn, where I live now. And I started going there, and they encouraged me to keep bringing in short stories and chapters of novels and things like that, to the point where I finally had, at this point, 8 published short stories, 2 published poems, and 2 published novels. And I still find that writing is part of my daily meditative practice, where I get to explore a little bit more what's going on in the deeper parts of my mind and what connects me to the rest of the world.
That's so beautifully said. I love that. I think we all experience a certain level of spirituality when we connect to those feelings and then being able to present it to the world with words. It's such a beautiful experience. Often it's such an integrative experience as well, right? We have our ego, our soul, our inner child. We want to collaborate. We want to collaborate with every part of our psyche and our consciousness, our subconsciousness. And last but certainly not least, we have Tessa, who is the author of Sacred Sanity, a poetry book that is filled with visual art. Wow, that's amazing.
Hi. Here's a copy of it. The cover is a painting I did.
Wow.
And so there are pictures, and I did a lot of painting as well as photography as part of it. And I never actually intended on doing that. I always just painted to be able to access words again. And so I'm a therapist by training, and I took some art therapy training classes, and that was something I learned when I was in my own personal recovery. So in short, I was psychiatrically hospitalized in November of 2017, and as a therapist, and it was a very humbling experience. And but poetry has been with me since I was a little kid. And started writing as early as I can remember. And so it's always been the way for me to access my inner voice, or my heart's voice, versus what all the nonsense that goes on up here. So I painted a lot to access words for a long time. And so a lot of the paintings I did in the book are actually before I wrote the poems, to access the words. And then the photography really helped me be more present with my body. Essentially, right after all that, I decided to write a poetry book and just kind of collect poetry for several years, and finally put it all together this last year and published it. So
that is so fantastic. Thank you all for sharing the intro to your stories. They're also uniquely inspiring and so motivational for, I think, anybody who listens to the podcast and wants to connect to that part of them and wants to write, because it's so unique, right? We all have our journeys that bring us to so many spaces and places, whether it's psychologically, mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically. We feel it in our body that we feel like we have to channel stuff, we have to write things down. Next, it would be fun to maybe read something from your work and to yeah to share that. So I'll start because I felt like why not teacher start. So I brought a poem that's called Full Moon Goddess, and since we are in the cycle of the full moon, the energies are hectic. We have so many things going on in the world. There's so much chaos. And anytime we have a sense of unity, I feel like vibrationally it helps us like collaborate and shift into higher timelines. So, and I think it's also like there's an importance of soul cleansing in cycles and accepting that transformative part of our consciousness, and to kind of find our own morals through the journey is super important because that gives our soul freedom. So I think it's super important. So I'll just start and then we can just go around and read a little bit about what we have to share. Okay, so let's see. Did somebody just leave the studio? Yeah, right. Hopefully she'll come back, and maybe she went to get like a book or something. Okay, so I'll just start. She rode out the golden waves, away from the narcissist days, distracted no more by the manipulated maze, awakened by the cosmic haze, relearning the truthful ways, beginning a new phase, forgiving the old betrays, endorsing the empathic summer sun rays. She glows through the shadow, she shines through the light, she merges with the dusk and through the night. She yearns to be seen, she wanders into the fields oh so green. She expands her soul, she is the lover of the moon that makes her feel whole. So that's my little poem that I wrote a while ago. And this is kind of like one of the first poems I wrote when I was in high school. So I just wanted to share that and to say how our poetry really changes as we evolve and as we heal. And it's super interesting to connect to that part. So anybody want to go next? Free flow. Whoever wants to go ahead. Mark.
I have my book is the Miraculous Life of Rupert Rocket. I don't know if it's coming up to you backwards or what, but this is a short passage from chapter 3. Grandma, why are you crying? The little boy had returned from communing with the ducks. Zelda got a handkerchief out of her purse and dabbed her eyes. I was remembering your grandpa and I walking here before you were born. It made me sad that he's not here anymore. He died, Rupert summarized. I never met him. Mama showed me pictures and said he died. That means he's not coming back again. Where did he go? Zelda was a little shocked that Caroline had broached the topic of death with him at such a young age. She recovered enough to come up with a reasonable explanation. His spirit went up to heaven, and we buried his body under the ground, she explained. You buried him? Rupert seemed a little shocked. When someone dies, that part of them that lives in their body is not there anymore. She held Rupert's hand and led him to a bench near where she'd parked the stroller. She lifted him onto the bench and then sat down beside him. The part we remember goes up into the clouds and travels among the stars. That would be cool, he declared. You'll have to wait a long, long time before you can take that trip, Rupert. Don't get his hopes up, a female voice said from behind the bench. Zelda didn't need to turn to know who it was, even after so many years. I didn't think we'd run into you again so soon, Grogich. The old woman sauntered around to the other side of the bench and sat down next to Rupert. The boy wanted to touch all the different fabrics that made up her coat. Zelda tried to pull him back. Don't bother the lady, she scolded him. It's okay, the Grogich said as she pulled Rupert up next to herself. She turned her gaze back toward Zelda. You both seem healthy. We've had some tight scrapes and some hard times, but things are starting to look up a little, Zelda reported. I was curious to see what your blessing would look like, and Rupert has manifested some amazing abilities. He will get a new one on his birthday every year, the older woman said. What have you noticed lately? Rupert stood up on the bench and became fixated with the woman's large ears. Zelda reached over to pull the boy away, but the Grogich gently pushed her hand away. It's okay, she said. He was anticipating harm just before an accident happened, Zelda narrated. Then he could heal very fast. I'm not sure what it is this year. He seems very popular in town. I guess it's because Caroline takes him down to the restaurant to perform for customers sometimes. The Grogich chuckled and set Rupert down on his bottom again on the bench. She tickled him a bit in the belly, and Rupert let out a string of giggles. This is the year of Rupert's charisma, she announced. I was wondering what drew me here so soon again. I wasn't planning to visit him again until he became an adult. Zelda allowed herself to laugh as well. The explanation made sense to her, because all the attention Rupert got lately was well out of proportion to his charms and talents, she felt. This is finally a gift that has been a benefit to more than just Rupert. He's bringing back customers to the restaurant, and we're making money again. Oh, the Grugich intoned. My dear, I'm sure his previous gifts saved you a lot of money you would have had to pay to hospitals and doctors, am I right? I suppose that's true. Zelda had accumulated a number of questions she wanted to ask the Grogich when she met her again, and she tried to recall them. So if your blessing only lasts 25 years again, what will happen to Rupert on his 25th birthday? I have only limited experience blessing babies, the old woman confided. I don't think the good luck vanishes all at once as it did for you. I think it takes a while to dissipate. So does that mean I'll live another 21 and a half years? Oh, you're talking about the other part of the Puka's curse now, the Grogich said. She smiled at Rupert, who seemed to be content to watch the ducks from a distance. Well, the intention behind the curse, if I remember correctly, was to make sure your bloodline died with you. That can be open to interpretation, now that the blessing is interacting with your family as well. Rupert can absolutely not die before he turns 25, and since my blessing is stronger than the Puka's curse, it should allow you to see him turn 25. But after that, I don't know how soon or how strongly the curse will take hold again. I thought you told me the curse would keep everyone in my family from marrying. Zelda remembered another theory she had developed over the years. But since I married Thomas, didn't that break the curse? The Grogich sighed. I've been trying to offset my sister's curses for centuries. They are like an avalanche that picks up speed and volume as it tumbles down the mountainside. It was still gathering power when you and Thomas married. Your daughter has not married, correct? No, Zelda admitted. She was engaged to marry Rupert's father, I think. Then Rupert will never marry either, and your bloodline will end with him. There's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing you, or Caroline, or Rupert, or anyone else can do about that, I'm afraid.
Wow, beautiful. Anybody want to add any commentary to that? Oh, you're
I feel like the writing that you do sounds like screenwriting. Like the novel almost sounds like like so much dialogue, and like you show the character with the way that they express themselves, which I think is so valuable. And I'm just all I can think of is like watching it on a movie. So,
I've been
um,
told that before.
yeah,
The cinematic style.
yes, you really do. Yeah.
Do you narrate audiobooks?
I have, yes.
I figured as much.
I was an actor, Hakim. Remember that part?
I remember.
I did voice.
Yeah, me too, low key. I did the audiobook for Unkindled as well.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's great. I've been wanting to do that, so it's really great to meet both of you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Anybody want to go next and share some of their work? Who wants to go next?
I can share one.
Yes, please, Tessa, yes.
So this is a poem from my book. It's titled, It's Hard to Get Grounded. It's hard to get grounded when your roots are in the sky, when God was always above, far beyond, in clouds and light, in stories whispered to children of heaven's gates. I was raised to look up for answers, for salvation, for love. But then, in the quiet, in the breaking of my heart, God shifted from the sky to my chest. A warmth, a pulse, filling every breath. How do you get grounded when your roots float in the heavens? Perhaps you don't. Perhaps you become the space where sky meets soil, loving everywhere.
Oh, wow, that is so beautiful.
Wow.
That's amazing. I just love that. I feel like that's so often how empaths feel like they're going through some kind of spiritual awakening and their heart chakra is opening and activating. And then I feel like we go through so much trauma or betrayal or something that activates that within us to be like we're asking all the questions, like you mentioned, yes, like we're looking up and we're trying to figure everything out, and it's like until we go inward we feel ungrounded. That's so beautiful. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I feel, Tessa, also that that was my perception of the world too, is that higher power or God seemed far away for so much of my life. And as I started to delve deeper into a spiritual life, I could see it more closely to me at the time.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Mark.
Anybody else would like
And
to
my
share?
whole thought,
I really liked that.
I can go next.
Yeah.
Oh
Y'all
yes,
don't
yes,
like that.
please, yes, Deanna, yes.
Okay, so this is from my book, Don't Go Stay. It is a poem entitled Longed for Words. These are the words I wish I heard. You are loved. You are amazing. You are wonderful. You are beautiful. Instead, I heard words with disdain, words I cannot write, evoking feelings I can't explain, full of hate, jealousy, anger, resentment, words that rhyme with hazy or itch or sucker or I can't even go there, not even in my mind, for it grants them power, lets them rewind. I hear these other unnamed words so often from so many. Now I reject the words I wish I heard so plenty. You are loved, you are amazing, you are wonderful, you are beautiful. Or worse yet, I replace you are loved, you are amazing, you are wonderful, you are beautiful with these unnamed words I cannot say, write, or think about. So while you say the words I long to hear, I don't. I hide away in fear. Today I found a path around these words. Now I say them to myself, so I cannot reject them or discount them or disbelieve. I am loved. I am amazing. I am wonderful. I am beautiful.
Oh, I love that.
Thank
That
you.
is so beautiful. The affirmations are so powerful. I think what you're doing is so beautiful because we have negative things that people tell us, and then we kind of integrate that, and our brain is rewired to accept that as fact. And then we live the world out in that vibration. So it's so beautiful to be aware of that negativity from the outside world, and then to shift that and to turn that around completely, and to instill in your psyche this beautiful, loving, positive affirmations to rewire the brain and the mind to a beautiful vibration. That's so beautiful. I love that.
Well, thank you. And speaking of turning around, I have those words on the back of my shirt.
Oh, that
Yo, that's cool.
So
that's
I take them
Oh, you
with
have
me
a.
where I
Oh,
go.
that's fantastic. That's
So
awesome.
it's cool. I need to get one of those.
they're on my
Yeah,
website.
sure.
Oh, wonderful.
They're on your.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'll get
put
you
You said
those.
they're on your what?
I'm gonna put your guys' website in the description. So yes, for
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Who would like to go next?
I'll go last. I've waited this
Oh,
long.
Brianna, would you also want to go?
Well, if Hakeem wants to go
Okay.
last, I will go next then. So, while I'm predominantly a romance author, I do also write on the nonfiction side. I have devotionals, a blog, and some other resources that I've created to help encourage and empower Christian women on their faith journeys. So I will read just a part of the introduction to my first devotional. I have another one coming out next year, but this is
Ooh.
the only one I have so far. And this particular devotional, it's Love God, Love Others, Love Yourself, a 90-day devotional for young women. And the backstory for this is that I was a youth advisor for 15 years, and I was able to interact with some really amazing young women, particularly in senior high. And this is kind of just my gift to them. I know some of the struggles that they've been going through, not only in their faith journeys, but just in being teenagers. And so I really wrote this for them to give them something that can hopefully help them connect with God a little deeper. So I will go ahead and read this introduction for you. Love is a funny word. The English language simply doesn't do it justice. We use the word love for everything from our favorite genre of music to familial and romantic relationships. Sometimes the word is thrown around so much that it loses any proper meaning. Other languages, such as Greek, have multiple words for love based on the type of love expressed. Agape is used to describe one's love for God. Eros focuses on physical intimacy related to love. Philia is used for love between friends. What joy to have a vibrant and extensive language that identifies different types of love. In Matthew chapter 22, verses 37 through 39, Jesus discusses the greatest commandment. We are to love God with everything we have and love our neighbors as ourselves. What does loving God actually look like? How are we supposed to love our neighbors if we disagree with them? How can you even love someone else if you don't love yourself first? These are the primary questions we'll ponder in this devotional. My hope is that you'll find this devotional helpful as you grow in your faith, strengthening your relationship with the Lord and reflecting God's love to everyone you meet.
Beautiful. I love that. That's so wonderful. I think having like a mentor or a guide is so important when people are going through an awakening or any kind of shift that people experience as we're moving through the world.
Thank you.
Or no, well, it wasn't a question. It was a comment. It was about the different words for different types of love. Wait, which language was that?
It's
Greek.
Greek.
Ah, okay. Okay, that makes sense. All right. That's why I was thinking, I was like, I heard like Telly, I was like, it sounded like it was Greek, but okay, that's cool. Yeah, I definitely like that point because you're right, it doesn't do it justice to just lump everything into the same category. And it's like, well, it feels a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Agape,
which can be
eros,
limiting
and philia.
sometimes.
Yeah. I thought you were doing a great job sort of summarizing the content of the devotional. It was good. I liked the rhetorical questions. That was a nice way of starting to get people thinking about the larger topics. So that's great. Nice introduction.
100%.
Yes, totally. And especially how you
I like that.
on love, that's the highest vibration within the universe and the cosmos, and it's like to teach people how to access that, it's such a beautiful gift that you're sharing with the world, so thank you.
Yeah. So this is a poem from Unkindled. Um, I'm not gonna give the title actually. I won't give the title. I'll just start reading it. What say you, child, to the bare bones of a withered tree, pining to be filled with leaves? A whispered word of hollow thoughts? We'll see what morning sunlight brings. The day is young, so seize it well. Each one goes tick by tick. But listen now, consider this, what from each tick you'll get.
Wow,
That's it.
I love it.
Can you tell, like, oh,
No,
sorry,
no,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can you tell what it's about? Well, what do you think it's about based on
Do you guys have any thoughts? Please share.
Well, the setting seems to be early spring
fair?
or late winter, I guess.
Something oncoming.
That's a fair comment. That's a fair comment. Okay, I guess okay, I'll explain it then. So it's more like okay, my internal dialogue when I wrote this one is basically like an older version of myself like talking to my inner child. And it's basically asking, you know, like, what say you, child, to the bare bones of a withered tree pining to be filled with leaves? It's like me talking to my younger self who, like, wants, like, all of these different things. And then, like, a whispered word of hollow thoughts. We'll see what morning sunlight brings. That's like, you know, what can you say to someone who, like, wants all these things, but you, like, can't yet give them to them? Like, what can you say? What can you do? And then as it proceeds to the second part of it, it's like, you know, the day is young, so seize it well. Each one goes tick by tick. But listen now, consider this. What from each tick you'll get. That's you know, saying every day is an opportunity to move closer to the things that you want to cultivate and you know, the things that you want to really move towards in life. And
That's so
don't waste it.
beautiful. Yeah, that's so beautiful. It reminds me like
You make
from
your point very compactly.
it reminds me like
Yeah.
from Pocahontas, like the grandmother willow tree, something really inspirational and poetic and ancestral, even connecting with those parts of our consciousness when we're
Hmm.
healing ancestral roots. It's so beautiful. I love it.
Hmm. I'm glad. Yeah, I like that one. That's one of my favorite ones.
Amazing. Amazing.
I would like to say your inner voice is very confident and encouraging, and it's beautiful. So thank you for
I'm
sharing.
glad. Thanks. That's good that it's getting across. That's good. That's my intention.
How do you guys deal with feedback when it comes to your work and receiving feedback? Do you guys have any experience or tips for people about that?
I think I think using your heart as a filter and allowing what resonates and what maybe doesn't resonate to not I don't know. I had a creative mentor once to say, don't be so precious about what you create that you can't receive, but also don't be so precious about the feedback given to you that it inhibits you from moving forward. So it's just like, don't be so precious. Which I don't know why, but that always just really resonated with me. So I just try to think of my heart like a filter of like what comes in and what comes out, and about like how things
I
resonate.
love that. It's like
So,
the area of detachment. It's kind of like I'm not too attached to either or, so not to fall too
Mm,
much into the ego. I love that.
yeah.
mhm,
I used to be in a writer's group, and I used to teach do not fear the red pen, um, because the red pen is an opinion of somebody
edit.
else. And while they may be right, they may not be right for you and your
Mm,
writing. But I
mm,
also, with the poetry, it's particularly because sometimes the being wrong is on purpose, right? So I always say, again, go with your own feelings first of all. But once I release a poem out into the world, it can be interpreted however the person receiving it needs to hear it, because it is not mine anymore. Because what resonates with me and what the poem was about when I wrote it hit somebody else in a different way, and I want them to experience their feelings through my work, not my feelings.
mm,
I
That's very
love
true,
that.
Deanna. I
So
think
mm,
when I
I think a lot of times when I've written something and the editor sends it back with all these comments on it, you say accept, reject, accept, reject, accept. You know, just going through it like that to try to get a sense of what improves it and what starts to stray away from my original intention. And I think at one point I got a comment, can we have Rupert die in the end? And we're like, no, you've been following him for 400 pages. And if you kill him at this point, the readers are going to revolt, you know? So I think that's part of the act of accepting that some things, if it seems dramatic, but you have to think about the reader's point of view. And I agree with your point also, Deanna, about the idea that people sometimes ask me if I know what the theme of my books are, and I say
Mm.
I don't know, and that's not the important thing. I have an
Sure.
intention. I have an intention when I write something of what it means to me, but the theme is what the reader gets out of your writing. It's what how
Mm-hmm.
each person gets something different. When I hear different reviews of a certain single book, certain people can like certain things and not like others, identify with one character and not another. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
matter of your writing is just the beginning of a fire, and everybody else sort of stokes it with their own ideas.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. And also,
100%.
Deanna, I just wanted to also add that I love how you mentioned like about competition. It's so true. You can't really be vulnerable and authentic and be your best self if you're always in competition. It's so true. It's like we want to be our best selves, but sometimes when we feel lacking or when we feel insecure about our work, some people will try to compete with others. And I feel like when you stay in your own lane and you're able to be inspired by somebody's work and not have this competitive eye, because that creates blockages for your own self, right? It's like you can't then connect to your own artistry,
It's
your own
distracting.
creativity.
It's a little distracting, yeah. So many good points made.
Yes, this is such a beautiful group. I love connecting with you all. It's been such a wonderful, I feel like it's like a therapy session in a way. We're sharing all of our work and all of our inspiration and our healing. It's super inspiring. Would love to do it again. If you guys can also share with the audience any links or any ways people can connect with you and see your content so they can keep up with you, please go ahead and share.
Okay.
Okay. My name is Deanna Repose Oak. My website is deannareposeoaks.com, and I'm Deanna Repose Oaks on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. Um, so that's me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Deanna.
My company's called Intuitive Expression. I offer creative coaching, psychotherapy, and Reiki services. And then also do a little bit of speaking engagements for poetry, mental health, and mysticism. My website is intuitiveexpression.org.
Amazing.
And I'm also on Instagram too, Intuitive Expression.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tessa.
Well, my website is authorbrianabass.com. I'm on Instagram, Threads, and Pinterest at author Briana Bass. And my books are wide. Links are available through my website, but also available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other retailers.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Brianna.
My website is marksalswheel.com, and there's a link on the homepage to my blog, and that's the best way to keep up with news in my life. But if you want to get even deeper in, you can find me at NYC Writer Composer at Instagram and Threads.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah. And I'm Hakeem. You can find me on any social media. I'm trying to make sure I'm not online. Okay, yeah, Instagram, TikTok, um, a lot of social media. If you search my name, Yusuf Hakim Kaiser, it'll come up as, depending on the social media, either Dream Drive Books or Dream Drive Poetry on Instagram, where I post most of my poetry stuff. Um, and then my website. For right now, this may change whenever you hear this if you're listening, but it's beacons.ai/Dream Drive Books.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
And that's where we find your fiction.
Um, it will be on there. Yes, actually, it's in the right now. It's on the second page of like works in progress, but it
Awesome.
will be later.
Okay, thank you guys so much. Do you want to close out with like one word that you guys feel right now encompasses all of your vibes and feelings about writing and how it makes you feel? I can go first. I'll just say, I'm trying to think of a really like, I'll just say integrative because I feel like it's all integrative.
I would say expansive.
Expansive. Very good.
Mm.
Yes.
I'd say
Uplift.
fulfilling.
Fulfilling. Love it.
I would say connected.
Connected.
Uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Uplifting. Have we all shared? Yes. Okay, wonderful. Well,
Wait, I thought Tessa.
oh, Tessa,
Oh, never
Tessa,
mind.
did you share?
I guess I didn't hear. Oh, you're
Oh,
muted.
it's
Ah, intuitive.
intuitive. Yes, I love it. These are fantastic.
I almost said fulfilling, so you snagged that one from me, Hakeem.
Got it. Tapped in.
I
Well,
love
Yep.
it. I love these like positively affirming words. How helpful is that, right? To help us to reach new levels of writing. So thank you guys so
for sure.
much. It was such a beautiful conversation, super inspired, and so I think healing for everybody, hopefully, who comes across and learned a little bit more about the journey and really the joy of art and writing, the art of writing. It's so beautiful. So thank you guys so much for coming.
Thanks, Ari. This was
Thank
fun.
you for hosting.
Thanks, Ari.
This has been fun.
Awesome.